Welcome back, guys. Today's video is going to be about the first model that I've built since I was probably freshman in high school or younger. Smoking some blend I put together of Lane 1Q and some blending out of Kia. This plane is the F4U-4 Corsair. It is a 1/16 scale, and this particular model is a Guillows, or Guillows, however you want to say it, balsa model kit. When it comes to you, it comes in a fairly large box. All the pieces that you have to put together are kind of sort of pre-cut. The spars and the wings and everything else are pre-cut, but you have to make your own metal parts. They provide you with different size metal rods, and you cut them to length and you bend them to the shape they need to be in. To give you guys an idea of scale, how big this thing actually is, let me just do this real quick. That is my FNX 45. It's a full-size double-stack 1911 compared to the size of the F4U-4 Corsair. Kind of gives you an idea, hopefully. Let's see. All the control surfaces are movable. You can see even the one back here. The wings do fold up. Try not to drop my phone. The other one does the same thing. It is fairly fragile because it's balsa wood, but this plane took me about 9 months to build, simply because of all the work that had to go into it, from sanding the pieces down to where they'll fit better, to fixing mistakes that I'd made in it. There's two separate plans for the folding wing versus a fixed wing. And I wanted to do the folding wing, but in my haste I had accidentally made the fixed wing, so I had to go back and cut this spar apart and take one out and put a different one in order to allow these grooves to be a part of it. The canopy here does slide back and forth, just like that. If I can get it back. There we go. The cockpit is not painted, mostly because I forgot, but hopefully one of these days I get around to painting it. All it is basically just cardstock stuff. Here's a picture of the controls. This particular model does come with plans to make it an RC model, but I don't have any plans of doing that because I don't want to break it. And I know me, I know that once I get to flying something like this, it's going to break. The propellers here, it does come off. These little propellers did not come like this. Those came as blocks of wood, probably about 1 inch by 3.5, 4 inches long. So I had to draw them out, sketch out the shape of the prop that I wanted, and then from there cut and sand down to the size. If you see the skin here, it looks like it's got rivets on it. What I used for the skin instead of the tissue paper that they provided was some cardstock. I saw a video online about a gentleman who had built one similar to this, and he had used cardstock for the skin. I like the look of it, so I tried to mimic that. This one did not turn out as nice as his did, but keep in mind I was like 10 when I built the last model I had built, and this one I built probably 2 years ago. On top of the cardstock, I used aluminum duct tape. That's what that sheen is right there. Just a little bit of the aluminum tape showing through to give it some kind of that little bit of realism to it. And I used little strips of that tape to create these little rivet points here. And I used a ballpoint pen to create those rivets. And that was very time consuming because they are all over the plane. I'll show you guys the opposite side. Hopefully without breaking it. Another cool feature that came with this plane were some vacuum formed bombs. And I had to cut these out of their form and put the halves together, and that was pretty time consuming, as you can tell too, that I didn't do that very good a job. But I got a little creative with it. Put a little face there on the front with a cigar and Tojo Nomo. And then to Tojo with love. And on the bottom of this, the landing gear does retract. I can show you, but I'll probably break it. But let's see if I can show you the gear. What happens is you pull it out just a little bit from that little notch that that piece of metal is sitting in, and then it just folds away and up into there. And there's a third bomb that it came with. And the bomb does drop. And what you do is you pull that little lever backwards, and then there's a little tab in the front of the bomb. I'll show you where it is on these. You have two holes, one in the front there and one in the rear, and there's a static tab that sits in this one, and the one that moves sits in this one. And what it does is it pulls it back just enough for the top to drop, and it drops down. Pretty cool little feature. But like I said before, I had to bend all those parts and make them from scratch. But I figured I would share this with you guys. The Corsair is one of my favorite airplanes because it is so unique, in that in World War II, it was one of the first planes to have the gull wing design. And a little known fact about it is that the vertical stabilizer here was actually off center by, I think it was a ½ degree or something like that. And it had something to do with the gull wing design and how it flowed through the air. But I just figured I'd show you guys this cool little model I built. There'll probably be some more of these type of videos coming up too, as I've built quite a few models so far. Appreciate you guys watching, and take care.